An Introduction to Recycled Gardens.
Hello and welcome to Videojug. I'm Tom Cole, Head of Horticulture at Capel Manor College, and you join me in the recycled garden. A garden that's full of all manner of things you might have just thought about putting into the skip, but we've got some good ideas as to what you can do with them. To create a raised bed in a garden such as this, we've used reclaimed railway sleepers. They knit together finely and give great height, almost up to 1 metre, but it's limitless. It can be lower, it can be higher, depending on what you're using that bed for. Here we're using it for a herb bed, and certainly you've got around about just under 1 metre of height. That's roughly 3 railway sleepers pinned together in situ and giving us that real natural feel. You can also use rail sleepers vertically inserted into the ground, such as the one behind this bed. And that sort of does away with the need to have to go out and buy a whole myriad of different types of fencing. It looks natural, it gives a range of heights, and they age all independently, so you get a great mixture of hues and tones coming through. To create a simple but effective climbing frame for any of your true climbers, such as wisteria, hop, honeysuckle, whatever, we've used section telegraph poles. Poles roughly around about 12 foot in height, which means between 2 and 3 foot of that have been inserted into the ground and concreted in. And as a buffer between those two, we've used this sort of meshwork, simply fixed to each telegraph pole in turn, creating a fairly natural setting, creating something that's going to weather really well, but very importantly, it's creating something that you can look through and enable plants to clamber over. Here you have something that's very vertical and no real sort of covering at all on it, but in other sections you've got a sort of pergola-esque type display where the meshwork has been put literally on top of the telegraph pole. All of the materials weather really well. You get some great sort of hues and browns and greys coming through, particularly on the wood as it ages. A simple and really effective display. You don't have to rush out to your local garden centre to buy the most up-to-date container for your choice plant. Look closer to home. Pop into your own garden, look in your own shed, look in your neighbour's skip, and you might find some real bargains there, such as an old wash tub, a galvanised bin, or even the old drainage clay pipes, or a chimney pot, or a pile of old slate tiles, which you could actually cleverly clip together to form a container in its own right. Whatever you choose, you need to consider soil, but look at all those different materials you could use. It doesn't have to be terracotta, it doesn't have to be plastic, but if you have it in the garden, why not use it? In a recycled garden such as this one, we've tried to find a home for almost anything that we found, even down to these pallets. You find pallets all over the place, and they could be just a standing stone for the rest of your containers, so that in the winter they're not just sitting on the floor, they've got a site that water can drain through really easily without the contents of the container rotting off. Or better still, why don't you take apart your pallets and actually construct a compost heap, and cleverly construct a roof on it as well, so that you may want to sit on it. To go along with that, we've also found shells, all shapes and sizes, and here we've got some scallop shells which we're using as a great mulch, overlying some membrane material. Just gives something a bit more attractive, something different other than the good old bark that you can often use.